in my opinion, if you can learn Google Plus, which almost anybody can, then you can learn anything else. So we're going to start with Google Plus. So we're going to go to plus.google.com. So this is the screen you're going to come to first if you don't have a Google account. So if you don't have a Gmail account, this is if you've just turned your computer on for the very first time, never been on the internet before. So you come to this screen, and up here in the top right corner, you'll see a button that says Sign Up. If you don't have a Google account, you're going to want to go there. If you do have a Google account, you can just sign in with whatever Google account that is. So if you've got a Gmail account, you can sign in with your Gmail account and password, and it's going to take you to the next screen. But we're going to start as if you don't have one. So you're going to go to this red button up here that says Sign Up and click it. Then you come to this screen. Now the sign up is not hard. All it is a name. So I'm going to put my name in here. Oops, if I can spell it right. I'm having terrible trouble today. I don't do mornings very well. So here we go. Where's the delete button? There it is. So my first and last name. So Google Plus likes you to be a real person. So you got to have a first and last name, and it's got to be a real name. Then I'm going to choose a username. This is going to be my sign-in. So I'm just going to put in a generic one, weekend1 with a bunch of ones afterwards. That way I know it's going to be unique and I can sign in. So you're going to want to find a unique username, but the username won't matter that much except for your memory. So you're going to want to pick something that's memorable so that you know what it is when you go to sign in, just like anything else, right? Then a password, same concept. You're going to want to find something that's memorable to you, but isn't too easy to guess. So probably not children's names, probably not birth dates, things like that, because that's stuff that people can find out about you and guess your password. So you want it to be secure. Then you can put a birthday in. So I'm just going to put in a generic birthday. I was born in the year 1900. I'm very old. Then optionally, you can tell them what gender you are. It doesn't matter to me. And then you can also put a mobile phone in. Now, the mobile phone, the reason you put a mobile phone number in here is if you've forgotten your password, they can send it to you via text message, and it makes a stronger security for you. So that's one reason to put a mobile phone in. I'm not going to put mine in because I'm not going to use this account again. But on my other account, on my main account, I do have a mobile phone attached to it. My current email address, this is another way to keep your account secure. So if you've forgotten your password, they'll send you a password reminder or a reset on your other email address. So I'm going to put my email address in here. Enter your full email. I did that. So there we go. So I've put my other email address in there. And then we come down to what they call the CAPTCHA. Now the CAPTCHA is another way for the computer that is Google to recognize that you are not a computer. So they want to make sure that you're a real person. So you've got to type in these sort of weird looking words. So this one is Scholar Surinal, S-U-R-Y-N-A-L. And you got to put a space in there, but there's also a couple of little options. You can get an audio challenge, so the computer will actually say something to you, and then you just type what it is. So that's it. And then location, United States, wherever you are. It's got like 500 different countries in there, however many countries there are in the world. It's got basically all of them. Then you go ahead and agree to the terms of service. If you want to read them, you click here, and the privacy policy, you click on both of those. I go ahead and agree to them because I've read both of them before. It's a good idea to read them. And then the last one is Google may use my account information to personalize +1s on content and ads on non-Google websites, which means if you go to a website that uses Google advertising, if you click the yes on this button, it's going to use the information you use on Google Plus to personalize ads for you, so they're more appropriate for you. So it won't sell you, for instance, me, it's not going to sell me a small child's toy because I'm not a small child. Although I do have small children, so maybe it will. I don't know. I'm going to go ahead and click this off because this is just this is an account I'm going to keep. So there we go. So now I'm done. Next step. Now I get to add a profile photo. You don't have to do this, but it is always easier so that when people are searching for you on Google+, they'll see your face. So I just click the big red button. Almost anything on the sign-up process is a big red button for you. So anytime you see a big red button, you're going to want to go to big red button. So I'm going to hit Add Profile Photo. Let's see, I'm going to be Mike for the day. So I'm going to upload a picture of Mike as myself. It's uploading, and there it is. I'm Mike DiMuccio for today. So we're gonna set this as my profile photo. So we're done with that. We hit next step. Now this is the only time you don't hit a red one. You just hit next step. And then I'm done. I can go ahead and connect to Google Plus, or continue to Google Plus. If it loads up right. There we go. Now the first thing you're going to see is this. It's going to show you some interesting people that you might want to follow on Google Plus. So you can do this stuff. I'm not going to, because we're going to find individuals before we do any of this. So we're just going to go ahead and continue. You can do that, but we're just going to hit continue anyway. So now we're done there. So here's where we add some information. So where do I work? I work at Nikan. My job title is consultant. So if I can remember how to spell it. Where have I gone to school? I won't, doesn't matter. I've gone to school in the School of Hard Knocks. And where do I live? I live in Gainesville. Now the reason I add these things is so that when people look for me, they will see these individual little, these bits of information, and they'll know that they've found the right person. You can also search by location. So if you know somebody that lives in your area, you can search directly for, say Gainesville, Florida, or Toronto, or wherever it is that you live. So we're done there. We hit finish. Now we're on Google Plus proper. So this is the whole Google Plus, the Google Plus experience. Now the first thing I'm going to do, because it's me, I'm going to go up to the search bar, which is just up at the top near the Google Plus symbol, just to the right of it. So I'm going to type in the Royal Alliance with spaces, and if you see it comes up right here. So the Royal Alliance is already there. So I'm going to click into this, and I'm going to go to the Royal Alliance's page. Now, this is how you add somebody to your circles. Once you're on somebody's page, there should be a red button at the top. It says follow. Again, red buttons always something to click on. So it says follow. I'm going to put the Royal Alliance in my friends circle. So all I do is mouse over the. I don't even click it. I just mouse over it and then hit friends. Then I click. Now it comes up with a little pop-up window. What happens when you add somebody to your circle? You can share with them to see what they're sharing with you. You can chat with anyone in your circle who also has you in their circle. So if they have mutually added you to a circle, you can then chat with them. But we won't talk about chat too much today because we won't use it very much. They'll be notified to you, and when they post something to a circle that you're added to, you'll get a notification for it. We'll talk about notifications in just a minute, and they'll appear in your public profile. You can change those privacy settings if you want. So okay, I've got it. That's all I needed to know. Now the red button that said follow is now green. It says it's in my friends. So now I know that they're in my circle. Now the next bit is we're going to talk about notifications. Remember we talked about red buttons. So there's a red button up here that's got a number 3 in it on the top right corner. So I'm going to go ahead and click it. This is my notifications. If you're familiar with Facebook at all, this is the little globe that has a number on it in Facebook. It's the same thing. So this is where any information that gets shared with you on Google Plus is going to go. If you get invited to an event, if somebody shares a picture with you, if somebody shares a post with you, if somebody wants to add you to their circles, all that kind of stuff, that's where it's going to go, and it's going to tell you about it. Now that'll also follow you. That same bar is up on almost any of the Google services. So if you're on Gmail, or if you're in your Google Calendar, or if you use, Google has about 70 different services, but they all have that same bar. So that notification bar will follow you everywhere. It'll also go to your phone. So if you have the Google Plus application on your phone, it'll be there. So that's the notifications. That's basically all you need to know about notifications. Just pay attention to that little number. If it gets too high, you definitely want to click in there and find out what's been going on in Google Plus. So the next bit is how to share something with your circles. So I'm going to go to the home feed, which is this button over here on the left-hand side, right under the Google Plus symbol, and right next to the big feed. There's a couple of buttons over here. One is home, profile, explorer, events, etc., etc. We're going to go to the home feed. So we click on home, and this is what our feed looks like. Right now, since we only have the Royal Alliance in our circles, everything in our feed is from the Royal Alliance. Now that'll change, except for some of these. There are some that are promoted posts and what's hot and things like that. Those are recommended by Google. But for the most part, you'll only see stuff from people who are in your circles. Now, if I want to share something, So I want to tell everybody that I'm new on Google+. So I'm going to click in. There's a button right here, or a box right up at the top that says Share What's New. So I'm going to click in there, and I'm going to say, Hello world. I'm new to Google+. So now that, if I just click share, it's going to be a public post. Everyone's going to see it. But I only want to share it with a very select few of people. So say, for instance, I'm a Royal Diamond, and I've got 17 people who are diamonds underneath me. I only want to share to those 17 people. I don't want my whole organization to see it. So I'm going to come down here and click into Add Names, Circles, or Email Addresses. I'll click in there, and it's going to pop open this little window that has all my circles in it. Now, if we're deeper into the experience, I would have already added all of those diamonds to a specific circle, and I would name it, say, Friends, right? So I'm going to go ahead and share only to friends. Now a little blue box pops up, and now it's only sharing to friends. Now I can also send an email to those friends. So say, for instance, 3 of those diamonds of my 17 don't have a Google Plus account, but I've added them via their email address, and I'll tell you how to do that in just a minute. I've added them just via their email address, so I'll go ahead and click this little checkbox that says also send an email to friends. So if they're not on Google Plus, they'll get an email in their inbox that has most of the post and then an invite to join Google Plus to view the rest of the post. Now, if it's a short post like this one, they'll see the whole post in their email box. But generally speaking, if it's a longer post, they'll get a sort of shortened version and then an invite over to Google Plus to see the whole thing. So that's what I'm doing. I'm going to go ahead and share this, and now it's in my feed. See right down here, Robert Jones looking like Mike DiMuccio. Hello world, I'm new to Google+, and it's shared to limited, so it's only shared to one circle. So there's another button in the left-hand navigation over here. There's Home, Profile, Explore, Events, Photos, and we're going to go to the one that says Circles. So this is where we manage our circles. So we'll see here, this is the 4 circles that we have set up so far. These are the default circles that Google Plus automatically adds to us. You can add different circles or name different circles on the Create Circle button over here. But what we're going to do is we're going to go over to Find People, which is up here in the, if you can see where my mouse is pointing. So we're going to click on Find People. It says, hey, suggestions from Gmail, Android, other Google products you may also see. You can also add people from your Yahoo account, your Hotmail account, or you can upload an address book if you already have one, and it'll find all the people that are already in Google+. What we're going to do is we're going to type a name in here. I want to find Michael on, there you are, Michael DiMuccio. I spelled your name wrong, that's why. I called it DiMuccio. So we're going to go ahead and find Michael's profile. This is a beautiful profile. So up here at the top it says Add to Circles. Again, big red button. We're going to mouse over it. I'm going to put you in my friend's circle. Now it's a green button, so we've added him to a circle. Now when we go back to our home feed, we'll see Michael's posts, and we'll see, so there's me, and there's the Royal Alliance, and then down here somewhere, I'm sure, is a post by Michael. Where is it? You haven't been very active on there. There you are. So there's a post that Michael's shared a little bit later. So
now let me explain that one real quick. All I did was I took my iPhone and shot a photograph of the cover of the Nikkei magazine, and then posted it via my Google Plus application.
Wow, that's a really good photograph. I didn't know that. I thought you'd scanned it in. So
it took me about 15 pictures to get a good picture.
There you go. So yeah, there's that. There's some of the posts from.
And by the way, my iPhone just buzzed me to tell me that I have received your notification. Google Plus, Robert Jones added you on Google Plus. So my iPhone now.
So if you have the iPhone application, it comes really quickly. So we can also find contacts from email. There's all kinds of different ways you can find people on Google+. Usually once you've added one person, Google will realize, okay, that's the kind of person you're connected to, and they'll start suggesting people to you that are connected to other people. So you can find people, for instance, if I go back to Michael's profile, I'll just hit back here real quick. So if I'm in Michael's circles, I know that I already know, I know Jory, right? I don't know her, but we're going to say that I do for example. So right here in his profile, I can just go ahead and add her to my friend circle as well. So it's right in his profile. You can just go ahead and mouse over it, add him to the friends, or add him to whatever circle you want. Same with any of these others, you just can add them. You can also view all of Michael's circles and you can add them to circles here as well. So that's how you get connected with people. So that's basically the two big. So once you've gotten signed up for it, you can watch this video a million times to figure that out if you're having trouble, and then just add people to your circles and start sharing stuff. So as I said, to share posts, right here there's a box that says share what's new. You can share here. You can share text photos, or I mean, sorry, text updates. But you can also share photos, which is this button here, or a video, or an event. And we'll talk about events in a different video, because that's sort of that's a big process, but it's a really, really cool one.
Hey, Bobby, if you go back to the Royal Alliance page, profile page, I think we can show them what it looks like when somebody, there it is, when somebody is on air live. So right now the Royal Alliance is on air.
Yep.
And there you are.
I would probably, if I click this, it would probably give us a lot of problems with our connection here. So I'm going to avoid that. But that's all you would do, is you just click this button, is this big play button, right on the thing. When there's a big box that says on air, again, red buttons are always the key. There's a big button that says on air, then we are live right now, and you'd hit that Hangouts button, and then or the big play button there, and it would go to it. Same thing here. And the same thing here, though this one I think will play the playback of what Bernadette shared last night. So it would play the recording of that Hangout. So as you can see, Dave will be live at 4 p.m. today. So yeah, that's what it looks like when you're in a Hangout. People can go ahead and watch that. You can also, if you're following us on Google Plus or Facebook or Twitter, I will always send out a link to the YouTube video specifically in case you have troubles getting on Google Plus itself for some reason. For instance, if you're on an iPhone, Mike shared with me the other day, because I don't have an iPhone, so I don't know this, but if you're on an iPhone, you can't actually watch these from within Google Plus, but you can watch them on YouTube Live. So we'll just share the link out. So I'll actually go over here to Facebook and show you what that looks like.
Let me just recap. Basically, when I went onto my Google Plus app, knowing that the show was live, I couldn't see that picture to click onto. It doesn't provide that on your iPhone Google Plus app. So what he had to do was actually send me via any number of ways, either text message or a Skype message or a Google Plus message, just send to me the actual link, the YouTube link, which I clicked on, and it immediately, I was able to then view the show live on my iPhone just by following the YouTube link, because everything that's actually happening via a live show is actually happening on the YouTube platform, since Google and YouTube are one and the same company. And that's why after the show is finished, it's published to your YouTube channel.
Right, exactly.
Now,
so
Bobby,
I'm going to show you what it looks like on YouTube right now.
Let me just ask that question. Is a YouTube channel automatic for somebody who registers a Gmail account?
Yes, it is. Although there's a little extra setup to it. But if you just go over to YouTube, it'll tell you, hey, you have a YouTube channel if you want to start using it, and it'll walk you through the steps, which are not difficult at all. It's even simpler than signing up. Once you sign up for the Google account, you're kind of in the system. So then all you have to do is kind of pick a username for YouTube, which is usually going to be the same username that you picked earlier on, and then just a little bit of extra setup, and it'll walk you through all that stuff. They're pretty user friendly that way. So I'm going to go ahead and show you what it looks like on YouTube right now.
There you are.
There we are. So I'm going to go ahead and pause it so we're live. I actually put this on my channel rather than the Royal Alliance channel, which was a mistake. But we'll change it. So my normal viewers are very confused right now as to what we're doing. But that's okay. So that's what it looks like on YouTube. If you just follow the YouTube links, it'll look just like this, and we'll be right there. So can you think of anything else we need to cover in this first initial?
Just over there on the right-hand side, just under the picture, start a Hangout. So this becomes now your platform for being able to start a Hangout and invite other people to the Hangout.
Right. So it's actually going to throw us an error because we're already in a Hangout right now. But what you would do is you'd click on Start a Hangout, And it'll pop up a little window. It's probably going to tell me that I'm currently in a Hangout. You guys can't see that, but it popped up another window that says you're currently in a Hangout on another window. You must exit that one before you join this one. So I won't be able to go through all of the Hangout stuff in this particular video, but there are some videos on YouTube that tell you all about Hangouts and how to get on them and things. And I'll link those in the description of this video when we actually get it live on YouTube.
Well, so let's just really quickly talk about it. So real quick, sure. You start a Hangout and you can then invite, as you would. Just specify the people you want to invite. Multiple people. You can invite a whole category of people, your entire circle of friends. You can invite specific people, and they're going to receive a notification, just like that little red corner button that has a number in it. They're going to get a notification, and they can click on that notification and join your Hangout. And if it's a public Hangout, if it happens to be, as in the case of Bernadette's last night, a public Hangout, and you happen to be on your Google Plus channel, you would have probably seen that notification. You can join that Hangout. So the point is that this particular Hangout that we're doing right now is just an illustration, an example of what you can do, and you can have as many as 10 talking heads on a Hangout. Now think about that. I've been able to do a number of leadership meetings for the Platinums in Turkey on a regular basis by everyone joining the Hangout at a specific time. They usually send me an invite, but I know the person who's hosting it, so I can always go and find it and join the Hangout. The point is, we have a Hangout of about 8 or 9 people where we share whatever idea or topic that's ongoing. So let's say you want to do a leadership Hangout once a week, once every 2 weeks, once a month with your Platinums or your Diamonds. Up to 10 people on any one particular call. You can break it down into multiple calls. And if I wanted to do this as a broadcast, which is what we've been doing on my show, then you have to, when you're actually going to set up a Hangout, there's a button that you click, you check, to indicate that you want this to be a public Hangout, and that means you now have the ability for people to join in at random at a designated hour to your Hangout. Now, Bobby, can you just touch on that real quick, because I'm not sure that we have right now our feed goes to royalalliance.com/live, so all you have to do is go to that link to see our shows at a designated hour. But if I just sent out a public, if I wanted to do a public Hangout today, what would people have to do to join that Hangout?
So there's a couple of different options we have. If you wanted to join the Hangout as a talking head, as one of our specific people, you'd have to make sure that you have us in your circles, and then if we did a public Hangout, which we haven't actually done so far yet, but if we wanted to do, say, a roundtable discussion where everyone can kind of join in and come and go as they please, then we just invite that entire circle to our Hangout. So they would get an invite to the Hangout, and then once the Hangout filled up, they would get a notification, hey, it's full, but you can still watch the live Hangout on our Google Plus feed. So they could, just like we talked about before, they would just go to our channel, or our not our channel, our profile, or either our YouTube account or our profile on Google Plus, and they would see, okay, they're live hanging out, I can watch it. So then as people sort of filter in and out, they can also they can join in as a slot opens up, if it does. Or they can just watch it live. So there's a couple of different ways. One, if they look on our profile feed in Google Plus, they'll see a link there. They can also, if they know what our YouTube channel is, they can go over there and there'll be another feed that's over there recording straight to YouTube. So they could watch it on, again, the Royal Alliance Live channel on YouTube, which is youtube.com/Royal Alliance Live. So that's where all of this live content is going. So there's a couple of there's a couple of ways to do that. If they're connected to us via Twitter and Facebook and Google Plus, every time we do a live show, I post to all of those platforms. So they'll always know that we're doing a live show, and they'll always be able to connect with us very quickly. But if they wanted to do a live show, they would start a Google Plus Hangout, and in in the window that pops up, which again I can't show you because we're in a Hangout right now, but in the window that pops up, there's a checkbox that says Enable On-Air Hangouts. And what on-air means is that it's live broadcast to the internet. So, yeah, when they open the Hangout, they'll have to name it. They'll invite their guests, whoever that is, if it's a public circle or if it's just a few different people, and then they just click on that button that says Enable Hangouts on Air. It'll pop up a little window that kind of is basically says, hey, you're going to be public to the internet. Are you okay with that? You just click yes, and then you would start the Hangout just like normal, except the only difference is in the top right-hand corner there'll be another big red button. Again, red buttons are a big key. There'll be a big red button that says Start Broadcast. So they could hang out privately for as long as they wanted, but when they wanted to start actually broadcasting to the internet, they would just click on that button and it would make them live. So right now, my button says End Broadcast because we're already broadcasting. So when we're done here, I'll click End Broadcast and it'll be on my YouTube channel forever.
So let me just add one more thing. When you shared your screen, by sharing your screen, you can share whatever you have on your computer. And I've been able to share the Vital presentation, my PowerPoint presentation, by toggling over to that PowerPoint. And don't forget, when you finish sharing your screen, to stop sharing your screen. But what's the point? You can do a PowerPoint presentation and do this live to any number of people. So you're now, you guys, particularly those members of the Royal Alliance, Royal Diamonds, Diamonds even, your most valuable asset is your skill set, your ability to present, your ability to articulate and know the ins and outs of this business. And so now what you have is accessibility. You have what one of my long-time, old-time mentors in network marketing, Larry Thompson, used to say, universal access. One of the keys to your success in growing a huge organization is universal access. In other words, duplicity, or being able to be duplicable, it's all about whether or not what you're doing is accessible to others. And so now you yourself are accessible to others through this medium, which is, once upon a time, you used to hand somebody a DVD or a CD or whatever. There was a physical action involved. You had to have a physical object in your hand. You had to acquire that physical object. You had to deliver that physical object. They had to then watch that physical object, and they had, etc. I mean, you think about the time lag involved in delivering content not that long ago, whereas today, we have it instantly over the internet. I can online right now, you and I together can click on the button on the left-hand side that says YouTube, and together Bobby and I can actually watch a YouTube video. So I might have specified, let's say, the Healthy Home, Healthy Child video, or any number of videos that you would find on YouTube. We can watch together right now on YouTube. So how powerful is that, where you have now instant access to information, and more importantly, you can be present in those presentations. So as a diamond, as a Royal Diamond, this puts you back in the game from the comfort of your living room. Do I need to repeat? Do I need to repeat myself? So this puts you back in the game, in the comfort of the lifestyle you have now grown accustomed to.
Good things, good things. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I have nothing else to add to that. I think that's absolutely correct. It's putting us, Nikan used to be the top, used to be the cutting edge, and then we kind of got comfortable, and now we're back on the cutting edge, and I think that's important.
Awesome. Okay, that's cool. Thank you for joining us, and stay tuned. We'll have another one of these coming up soon.
Next Tuesday, actually, we'll have another training call where we'll probably address some of the other aspects of Google+, but then also we'll jump over to Twitter and Facebook. Again, in my opinion, once you've learned Google+, you can learn any of the other ones pretty simply. So, but we'll jump into those next week. If you have questions, leave them in the comments of this video, and we'll answer those, or drop us a line on Google+ or Facebook or Twitter if you've already connected to those platforms, and we'll try and answer as many questions as you can before next Tuesday. And then next Tuesday's video, we'll actually go ahead and address them right here live on Google+. So that's it.
Thank you.
All right.